Just on the topic of managers as well, I mean, you look at what Pochettino has done. He's churned out another victory here. He got out of his group in the Champions League. He's done it without making any summer signings. Where does he rank in the Premier League managers for you right now? Because Pep is doing so well, but he's also spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Jose's won so many trophies in England and overseas, but he himself has spent a lot of money and he's going through a difficult time now. Klopp, yet to win a trophy, at Liverpool at least.
Tottenham is third now?
Tottenham currently third, yes.
So he's third best.
You feel he's third best? Could you say that really?
No, because
you can't base it on...
in the summer or last season, end of last season, I think he thought about long time that which areas I need strengthening or something, and he came to the conclusion that we don't need anyone. That I want to keep this team together, and you know, how long you play together, I think you know each other much better, and you will play better as well. I remember the United sides which were successful.
Yeah, that group
the
of
core of the team was always the same.
Yeah,
and then you strengthen the team with one or two players, and that was part of the reason of the success.
Yeah,
that you have the core there, and you just take precise players to strengthen the squad. And with us at Liverpool, sometimes I felt that when we signed 6-7 players per summer, that the change was a little bit too big sometimes. That you play with totally different players the next season, and that sometimes was more difficult.
And it takes probably time to adapt. So I think Pochettino is probably Pep. I would say number one. Klopp, from what he's doing at the moment, number two. I would put him number three. He threw in an 18-year-old today. Unbelievable. And you see, I think when you look at the skip today, what is the best way to describe it now? It shows Pochettino in his best form, because he can bring in a young player, look so comfortable, and that's credit to the manager. Because sometimes young players come in, they're like nervous. This player comes in, he just fits into the team, the system. And you mentioned before that the other players will support him. That's a sign of a great manager, because he created a good environment that young players can come in, feel the confidence, the manager's got his back. Yep, I believe in you, you go play.
Also looking at what he's done in terms of his net spend, because he is dwarfed by the teams above him. And I think earlier this week, I think before the Barcelona game, he was saying, or after the last Premier League game, how his budget, I mean, he's more on par with Everton and Watford in terms of how much they've spent. Not to Liverpool, not a Manchester City, and they can't compete there. Not a Manchester United. So in terms pound for pound, I'm getting the best out of the players, because you've got the partial spine of the England team who got fourth in the World Cup here. You've got quite a few Belgian players who got third in the World Cup here as well. You've got a World Cup winner in the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think a few years back Tottenham made good business to sign young English players, and now they are profiting of that, and also I would say that there's coming wings, and now Skip is coming, that they produce from the academy. They produce players for the first team, and they are good enough to play in a high level in the Premier League. So I think then you save some money, and sometimes you look you are too blind to only to look how much somebody has spent. I think the club is doing very good business, that there's coming one or two players from the academy every year to the first team, and they are ready to perform in the high level.
On top of that, I've been told by various pundits, including last week with Florent Malouda, how difficult it is after a World Cup to come back and play good club football. Over the course
I
of the
wouldn't know
season.
that.
Well, yeah, you played at 2 World Cups, am I correct in saying? Is it difficult?
No.
It isn't. Not for you.
No, I don't understand. How can it be? I'm confused.
Just to get back into the groove. And I think if you look statistically, if you look at France, when they won in '98, almost all the players didn't have great seasons. The ones that won the title of world champion didn't have a great season the following year with their clubs.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm trying to think for both of us, Sammy, that when you win the World Cup, it's like the ultimate for any player. Now, I can, in my mind, I'm trying to imagine if I won the World Cup, you won't see me for another couple of months because I'll be celebrating all over Africa. I'll be traveling.
All across the globe.
Yeah, it'd just be like calling me. The manager will be calling me. No, I'm not coming in. I'm not coming. I'm still celebrating. So I'm not saying. I'm just joking, but you can imagine the place on such a high.
Yeah.
That this is like. How do you explain how Mbappe must be feeling now? He's 19, 20 years old. He's won the World Cup. Oh my goodness, where do you go from there? Players wait their whole life or dream their whole life to even get to a final, let alone win the World Cup. So young Dembele now at Barcelona, he's got a World Cup medal. My goodness. So of course there's going to be a dip. And at the same time, you've had a long season. You've gone to play the World Cup. Look at Modric, for example. At the Real Madrid performance. He's drained. He's absolutely drained. The guy was in the Champions League final. He's drained.
Well, that's my point, because you look at the Spurs squad. How many of those players got to at least the semi-finals? You got Belgian players there, you got England players there, you got a France player there. They would have gone all the way. They wouldn't have had much of a break. Here they are. I mean, De Bruyne is breaking down throughout the course of the season.
So it's tough, and of course there's going to get a dip. But now with technology and the knowledge we have in the sports science, this can get taken care of. Players get rested. Now managers get sometimes questioned, why do you rest? Because he's trying to save him for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And people keep saying in England, the English teams suffer when they get to big tournaments. Look at everywhere else have a Christmas break. It's great because we're watching our games, but everywhere else in world football, they have a Christmas break, a winter, whatever, the sort of winter break. It's only in England that they play, so they shouldn't ask the question at the end of the season when there's big tournaments why the English players are suffering, because they're playing so many amount of games.
Yeah, and I think now for the players who went far in the World Cup, I think now starts the most difficult period. The Christmas time that you play a lot of games, New Year, then January, February when the pitch are maybe in a bad condition or heavier condition, that it's physically harder to play 90 minutes on that kind of wet pitches and soft pitches. So it's interesting to see now. Like Tottenham, you said that they have a lot of players from the World Cup. So how they stay fit and healthy. So,
did you boys have Christmas celebrations at your clubs? Were you allowed to? Because I've heard some managers weren't too keen on it happening. I think Harry Redknapp at Spurs wasn't really keen on his boys having a celebration. What about yourselves at your respective clubs? Were you allowed to during this busy period?
We were allowed. But we needed to, of course, we talked with the manager when. If you play 2 games a week, you can't have any celebrations. But when you had time, sometimes we had one in January. That when you had 1 week without a game or something, then you could have a little celebration.
Yeah, short dinner with the lads, with the players, and that was it. Kept it very, very simple. But like Sam said, you check with the manager first, the boss first. The boss is okay.
You never had parties without the manager's knowledge?
I don't know what you're talking about. Can I just call my lawyer quickly?
Yes. You're very good. You have a very straight face. I love how you deliver.
No, we were all focused. We were in bed by 9.
Otherwise, Alex will come and check and give you a call.
Yeah.
We'll save that story for another day, perhaps, when you publish your book. All secrets will be revealed.